Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress. It's competition time again. I'll give you the question for this week's competition. You can win a chess book, but first let's go and play some chess. The topic of this video is mate in one. Well, mate in one is easy enough, you would say, but not always. I'm gonna give you 3 positions with this mate in one theme, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's look at the first one. This is white to play and checkmate in one move. Can't be too difficult, it's not very difficult, but still, it would be good to give this a try. If you want to look for yourself, put the video on hold. I'll give the solution now. White has 2 rooks on the 7th rank, which always is very powerful. White has 2 rooks and a bishop, black has 2 rooks and a bishop. Materials equal, pawns are equal, but how can we checkmate that poor black king on f8, which does not have a lot of protection? When I saw this position, I automatically played rook f7 check, because it's a double check. Both the rook and the bishop are giving check to the king, but it's not checkmate. The king just goes to g8. So back to the starting position, that double check doesn't work. Taking on h7 doesn't work either. It's check, but not checkmate. For example, the rook can just take that bishop. So what can we do? Well, there is only one move that leads to checkmate in one. It's not the most obvious, or maybe it is to you. It wasn't to me. Rook g6 is checkmate. Very nice. The rook keeps an eye on g8, and it's preventing black from taking the bishop that is the check giving piece. With the rook on g6, that bishop is now not under attack from the rook on d6. Very nice checkmate in one, rook g6. Let's look at the second one, which is a bit more difficult. This is a different kettle of fish. This is a composition from Leonid Kurbel, a very famous endgame and study composer. He composed more than 1500 endgame studies and problems, many of which were awarded first prize for their great beauty and original conception. He's generally considered one of the greatest of all endgame composers. He was a chemical engineer by profession and unfortunately died of starvation in 1942 during the Nazi siege of Leningrad. He composed this problem. It's a mate in one. Well, board full of pieces, and yes, white has 1, 2, 3, 4 bishops. Of course, 2 of those are promoted pieces. They promoted to bishop during the game. And yes, black has 1, 2, 3, 4 bishops as well. All of the light squares, so 3 of them must have been promoted. White has 2 queens, black has 2 queens. But anyway, this has nothing to do with the game. This is about finding the mate in one move. And that's surprisingly difficult. When I saw this position, my first instinct was to play d8 queen with double check from the rook and from the new queen and checkmate. But then I found that d8 queen is a illegal move because the bishop on c8 would then give check to the king on h3. So d8 is not legal, so that doesn't work. Well, then my second instinct was to take that bishop on c8. I played d takes c8 queen. Is that checkmate? No, it's not, because black has bishop b7 interposing, so it's not checkmate. Okay then, d takes c8 queen doesn't work. Then I tried d takes c8 knight, because of the double check. Double checks are always good. Is that checkmate? No, it's not, because now black has the e8 square for his king. So still not checkmate. What else can we try? We can try to take on e5 with the queen. But then there is bishop e6, one of those bishops interposes. Try something else. We try knight g6, check. Then there's another bishop that saves the day for black. Let's try bishop g5 check. Is that checkmate? The queen, of course, cannot take because it's pinned. But unfortunately, now that the bishop is no longer on h6, there is king f8, and that's a safe move. It's not checkmate. Bishop h4, let's try that. But now the rook can interpose, so it's not mate. There's many more tries. I'll give you one more. Queen g5 check. Does that work? No, it doesn't, because there's a queen on c1, which now can take, and also that is not checkmate. So many moves you can try, and for every try there is a solution. It's quite an amazing construction. For every try there's just one solution, apart from one, and that is the solution to the puzzle. If you want to look further, look for yourself, put the video on hold, because I'll give the solution now. The only move that checkmates in one move in this position is to play the queen from e3 to a3. I hadn't seen that. It is checkmate. You cannot interpose this queen because it's pinned, and there are no other saving moves. The king has no squares. It is checkmate. Quite remarkable. Leonid Kubel, a genius. Let's look at the last position. What about this one? This is another checkmate in one composition. I don't know who the author is, unfortunately. But this is not the same as previously. This is not mate in one. This is about finding the only move that does not mate in one. Because everything is checkmate. Let's have a look. Bishop takes b7 is checkmate. Rook takes g5 is checkmate. You can checkmate with the knights on any square you want. Knight c3, or knight f2, or knight d2, or knight g3. Everything is checkmate. Rook g7 is checkmate. But what is the only move that is not checkmate? Again, if you want to look for yourself, there's only one solution, and I'll give it now. The only move that is not checkmate is the rook from g6 to c6. It is check from the bishop, but because the rook went to c6, the rook on b7 is now not pinned, because otherwise it would have been pinned by the bishop on a8. So now that rook can take on h7. So that is the only move. Rook c6 is the only move that is not checkmate in one. All the other moves were checkmate in one move. I like this one very much. Hope you did too. And now this week's competition. Yes, you can win a chess book. What is your favorite square on the chessboard and why? Explain in one sentence why this square is your favorite. You know, you might say my favorite square is e4 because Bobby Fischer used to say e2, e4 is the best move, best by test, so e4 is my favorite square. Or you can say my favorite square is f7, one of the weak points on the chessboard. Beautiful sacrifices are possible on f7. So please tell me what your favorite square is and explain why in one sentence, please. You can post a comment underneath the video or send an email to classroomchess@gmail.com. I will publish the results and the best entries on Saturday, October 21st. This competition is sponsored by the Mind Game Shop. The link is in the description box. Please click on it to see what the Mind Game Shop has to offer. Hope you will enter the competition. Hope you will click on the link of the Mind Game Shop, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel. Please leave a comment, and it would be great if you liked the video that you would share it on social media. You also may want to check out my Chess to Progress channel. The link is in the description box, as well as the other links. And this is Rick from Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.